out of the team for termination while
FA Cup champions.
We're halfway through and we're still looking at who's going to be the champions of the Singer Schools League 2018. We have two unbeaten teams so far. Will they remain unbeaten until the title decided? Looking back also at the Bradby, were Trinity able to come back and save face in the second leg? You're on the breakdown, you're on ThePapare.com. Looking back at the weekend's action on ThePapare.com, we had a look back at two very important trophy games and a rescheduled game between Wesley and Dharmaraja, rescheduled from the first round because it couldn't be played in Kandy on the scheduled date, and that match, we're looking forward to that one, and it was 23 points to 15 in favour of Wesley. Wesley would have been a little unhappy with the fact that they conceded 15 points to Dharmaraja, a team that hadn't been able to score many points in the course of this season, but even so, they couldn't manage to get their first point on the board through the in the points table. Dharmaraja 23 points to 15 was how it finished, 18-10 to the Wesleyites, who won the game at half-time. So Wesley coming up through the rankings, and they will be happy with that performance. They scored a few tries, and that's something that they will take well with them into the second round of games. Then we had Isipatana, who took on their traditional rivals Thurston for the 48th time. 46 times Isipatana have won this trophy without any kind of challenge, and they've lost one occasion and drawn on one occasion, and this time also it was one of those big wins for Isipatana. 50 points to 7 was how it finished after they led 31-0 at half-time. So Thurston happy to get on the board in that game, but Isipatana, a very dominant performance from them, and I think they'll be very happy with that, taking that into the second round. They've had a few questions asked of them in the first round. The tough matches are easy over for them, and now they'll be hoping to really come through and make an impact on that points table, the consolidated points table, which we'll talk about in a moment. Then of course we had the Bradby Shield, where Royal took a 32-point lead up into Pallekele. 39 points to 7 was how that one finished at the end of the first leg, and everyone was hoping, all the neutrals especially, and of course the Trinity fans, hoping that Trinity could bring something back to this game, and indeed they did. At one point in that match it was 20 points to 19, and it was the closest most people had got to Royal in this 2018 season, but Royal still showing how professional they are and how mentally strong they are, managed to come back late in that game and score a try to put a little bit of daylight on the scoreboard again and show that it wasn't as close as people would have imagined if it finished 20 points to 19. 27-19 was how that game ended at the end of 70 minutes, and it was the 33rd win for Royal in the 74 times that these teams have met for the Bradby Shield, and it was the third best winning margin after the 83-0 win in 2002, and also the 72-22 win, which was a 50-point margin in 2015. This was a 40-point margin, the aggregate being 66 points to 26. Trinity coming through with a lot of aggression in the second half of that game, and some of that aggression may have been a little bit misplaced as well. We saw a yellow card later on in that game for a punch that was completely unnecessary. So sometimes it's really important to be able to balance that aggression with not overspilling your emotions on the game. But I thought Royal adapted to the conditions much better. Trinity were trying to work it wide, and they had a lot of errors by dropping the ball in contact. The ball was like a bar of soap after the heavy rain that came down on that day, and as a result of that, their game plan was completely shot. They tried to work it wide but just couldn't get past a well-oiled Royal defense, and Royal, once again, what they did was just kept it close. They realized that their backs were not going to be a factor in this game, unfortunately for them, because they would have liked to put their backs into motion, but the way the game panned out and the way the weather panned out, it was not something that could be utilized on the day. So they managed to come back to their forwards, and the first try, I thought, was one that really showed where the gulf was between the two teams. Sasitha Siat was expecting to get hammered as he took the ball in on the first pass from Nikhil De Silva's short tap, and he just managed to go through almost untouched. Mohammad Ikram and the rest of the Trinity forwards on the line not really coming up to challenge the ball carrier, and that was a very easy try for Siat. And after that it was just one-way traffic for Royal until Trinity made that late comeback in the second half. But it was just too little too late for Trinity, and 40 points is the gap that they have to take back home with them, lick their wounds and come back perhaps next year. Let's look at the points table and how things look for the league as it stands at the moment. Lots more to look forward to, of course, a whole half of the league coming up. Let's look at the points. Welcome to the consolidated points table here, brought to you by stats.thepapare.com. Make sure you log on to stats.thepapare.com. You can get all this news and much more on the games that have been going on in the Singer Schools League 2018. These are the top 8 teams in the Cup Championship, and they are the ones who have qualified to play for the Cup. And at the front-running positions at the moment, we have Royal College and St. Peter's College, 29 points each, 5 games played, 5 games won from both these teams, and they have picked up the identical amount of bonus points as well, so setting up a clash nicely in the final game of the season. If we get that far, if St. Peter's and Royal don't lose before that, it's going to be a very interesting clash when we come to the match between St. Peter's and Royal, the top 2 placed teams at the moment. Then we have St. Joseph's and Isipatana, who are also on 1 loss each. Isipatana have 2 more bonus points than St. Joseph's have 2 more bonus points than Isipatana do, so they are on 25 and Isipatana on 23, and probably will be happy with that showing at the moment given the team that they have. Then we have a team that could really upset the apple cart a little bit. Kingswood in 5th place at the moment, but Kingswood will know that they've played their toughest matches so far. They've played some really tough games in Division 1A, and crossing over to Division 2A, I'm sure they will be happy to meet some of those teams, and they may even do a giant killing number on the likes of St. Peter's, maybe even on the likes of Isipatana. That's going to be a very interesting couple of games to watch. In 6th, 7th and 8th places, we have Wesley, Trinity and Zahira, and Wesley have 17 points with 3 wins. They are the only team in the table with 3 wins under their belt at the moment, but they'll be facing some tough matches coming up when they cross over. And then we have Trinity, who are in 7th place with 14 points, and Zahira with 11 points for themselves that they've picked up. They just managed to pip DS to the post to qualify for the Cup Championship. But looking at Trinity's stats, we also see that they have conceded the highest number of points, even though they are in the 7th position, 129 points against them. So they are going to have to bolster up that defense if they want to try and make it a further way up this points table. So that's the Cup Championship points table for you, brought to you by stats.thepapare.com. Let's look at the fixtures coming up for you on the resumption of the Singer Schools League 2018. Lots of much anticipated games, and probably the most important game of this first weekend is going to be 4 playing 5, where Kingswood College take on Isipatana College. And in the past, we've had 2014, 15 and 16, we've had Isipatana who have been runaway winners in this encounter. Especially in 16, it was 152-5 by the Isipatanians. But currently we had Kingswood who have played 5 and won 3. We have Isipatana who played 5 and won 4. But we can't forget that Kingswood were in the much tougher division in that first round, and Isipatana were in probably what was significantly a weaker division in Division 2A. So that's something that we need to bear in mind, because the form book will probably not be an accurate reflection of these two teams. I think Kingswood have probably a better forward pack, guys who can do a little bit more of a job up front. Their line out has been good, their defense has been aggressive, and apart from Anjula, who has been excellent from in the 3rd row for Isipatana, I think they will struggle to match up with those Kingswood forwards. That being said, Manika Ribeiro is probably going to be the best player on the park out of that 30, and if Kingswood can find a way to make sure that he doesn't distribute the ball in the fashion that he's used to doing, then perhaps they will have a chance in that game. Kingswood will be looking to cause a major upset in this match, so watch out for that one live on thepapare.com. We have Trinity also, who take on St. Peter's College after the downer of their defeat against Royal College in the Bradby. I think Trinity will be making sure that they put all their focus on this league to try and come up to at least the mid-table point from where they are now. They are 7th out of 8 teams at the moment, and I'm sure that they will be wanting to make sure that they come up a little bit further in the rankings. They too have played a lot of their tougher games, but against St. Peter's College, they're meeting the top team of Division 2A, and probably the team that was a standout team from that Division 2A for the rugby that we've seen so far as well. So St. Peter's, who deprived Trinity of what could have been a league title last year, they will be hoping for another win again, because they desperately want to stay unbeaten. So they will need to make sure that guys like Liana Pathirana at the back provide real stability for them, and they've had a lot of go forward from Jason Karunaratne, also the converted flank forward who's playing at scrum half. They will be looking to him, and Trinity also will be hoping guys like Warren Weerakoon can make sure that they channel their aggression in a constructive fashion to make sure that they do their number on St. Peter's as well. They're playing up in Pallakele, so that's going to be in favour of Trinity, so we'll wait and see how that game finishes. Going to be a cracker there as well. We have also St. Joseph's taking on Wesley on the 11th. That's at 4:15 at Havelock Park, and that match should be won by St. Joseph's. They have a decent forward pack, and I think their backs may have just a little bit too much experience for the talented but inexperienced Wesley backs. Watch out for Murshid Zubair. He may be able to spark something for that Wesley team, but it looks very much like if they're at full strength, the Josephian backline may have a little bit too much gas for the Wesleyites, the young Wesleyites. So St. Joseph's taking on Wesley on the 11th of May, that's on Friday, and on the 12th, that's Saturday, we have Royal taking on Zahira, and I would be very surprised if Zahira were able to get on the board in this game, because Royal College are a team that pride themselves on defense, and the smaller, inexperienced Zahira team will find it very difficult in the face of that marauding Royal forward pack. So Royal will know that they need to get all the bonus points as well that will count so in the final analysis. So let's wait and see how that one goes. Zahira will have a tough time against Royal, that's for sure. So at the moment, we have some top try scorers. Gamnu Chetia of St. Joseph's leading the try scoring stats at the moment with 7 points, and Dilan Kavinda also of St. Joseph's leading with 5 points. He scored that hat-trick, of course, in the last game against Kingswood. And Janita Dilshan, his tries coming into the focus against Trinity College. He scored 2 tries in that first leg of the Bradby, so it's the only tries, of course, that will count towards the league, and he has 5 points as well. Shehan Liana Pathirana has slowly been putting those kicks over. 51 points he has, and he's been scoring a few tries as well, really setting up things for St. Peter's from the back. Dulan Gunawardhan also, despite a few misses, has 46 points, the Royal fullback, and Sulakshana Manilka Ruberu on 38 points. He scored a few tries in addition to the kicks that he's made as well. So those are top point scorers for the league so far. Really looking forward to the second round.